Hello and welcome to Wolves Fan TV. Bring you some transfer rumours today, as well as some other Wolves related news. So today there's the Thomas Lamar transfer. Rumours still going round. It's been circulating now for the past week or so. He's not wanted by Real Madrid. George Mendes is helping him facilitate a move. It looks like it could be to the Premier League because that's where all the links are, to Wolves, Chelsea, Tottenham and Arsenal have all been linked with taking him on loan. From a Wolves point of view, I think he'd be a fantastic player. He's 24 years old. He can play any of the front three positions, sort of the number 10. He can play wide right, wide left. Predominantly, he has played more as on the left-hand side, which would then be, if Wolves were to sign him on loan due to a permanent move in the summer, they're thinking of around £50 million, which I think would be a good deal. We get to try him first to see if he can adapt to sort of the style of play, under Wolves. But then it'd be interesting then if we don't sign a striker, does he then move Jota into the central attacking position with Jimenez? So potentially Jota could be on the bench if Lamar's playing, if he's fit. Then Lamar could play left hand side. You could have Jimenez and then Traore, and then we've got Neto and Jota then on the bench, which I think could be very interesting and some nice attacking options on the bench, which we don't currently have at this moment in time. We haven't really got any attacking players at all on the bench at the moment, with Jota out injured. So for me, Thomas Lamar, if we could get him in, I think it'd be a statement of intent from Wolves if they can. I think he's a really good player, and still at 24, he's still got time to get better, approaching the prime of his career in the next sort of 2 to 3 years. So I think Wolves would be a really good start for him if we can get that deal done. And then the second player, it's come out of nowhere sort of overnight last night. Links in Germany, linking Wolves with a player called Maximilian Eggstein. He's a central defensive, probably more box-to-box midfielder. He's played over 107 games for Werder Bremen with 8 goals. Obviously a former German under-21 international with 16 caps for them as well. He's 23, just under 6 foot tall. He seems good. It seems a decent player. Around 30 to 32 million euros, so it's around 26 million pounds, which is expensive. It is a good player. I'm not sure he's the kind of midfielder we need. I think he's a bit similar to Dendoncker and to Neves potentially. Potentially we need a more mobile central midfielder, one that can sort of play through the lines and sort of maybe even go past players in the middle of the area, because that's something we don't currently have. Something like a Frank Kessie or a Mario Lemina, who's now playing his trade in Turkey at the minute. Them kind of players is probably more what we need. But if Nuno thinks he's the player to get, then obviously I'll back him 100%. He's not let us down yet. Of course we'll all get behind him, I'm sure, if he does get this deal done. So we'll see what happens. He did a press conference today and he was asked about some names. As usual, Nuno style, he wouldn't sort of answer any specifics regarding players. He sort of just batted them away and says I don't talk about players I don't talk about players that aren't in my squad. But even still, it's another interesting link. Whether we can get it done or not, it's someone a bit different out there. I'm sure it's someone probably we've been looking at. So we'll just have to see what happens on that one. And then a bit of news on Diogo Jota. Nuno said today in his press conference that he's had the scan. It's not as bad as first feared. So they're expecting him to be back in training next week. So he's definitely going to miss tomorrow and Saturday's game away at Southampton, and obviously Manchester United tomorrow. So that'll be fantastic to get Jota back after these next 2 matches, because he's a really good player, and we've definitely missed him the last 2-3 matches. And sort of a bit of other news as well. making the sort of news in the Express and Star today was the Wolves have got the 25th highest revenue in Europe. It says £195 million, but I'm led to believe they've put it in pounds, but I'm led to believe it's euros. So convert that down, it'd be £168 million, which sounds more like the revenue in your first season in the Premier League, because you make about 115, 120 million off sort of TV money. Then on top of that, you've got your gate receipts, sponsorships, merchandising, all them kind of things, etc., which would probably get you around to 168 million, which for the first season back in the Premier League, that's fantastic. But obviously, I'd expect this season's figures, when they release that next year, that should be getting upwards to over 180 million, depending on how far we get in the Europa League. If potentially could get to the quarter semis, it could be. And with the sales, we've sold a couple of players as well. Like Cavallero's just gone for 15 million. Catroni's gone back on loan for now. So hopefully we'll make some money back there. So potentially it could be over 190 to 195 million sort of turnover for next season, which is fantastic. We just need to try and get some players now to get this squad up and running. We're down to a very thin squad. For me, we need competition on the right hand side. Aurelio Buta was mentioned before the window started. Sort of maybe a loan deal up to a £5 million sort of sign-in potentially. Someone like him I think we need, because we've got no competition to really Traore, and he can play in that sort of forward position. He's quick, he can versatile. He's been playing this year in Belgium for Ghent. Played in a right wing back there, so again, good versatility player, what Nuno likes, plays in more than one position. And obviously Doherty's not really been great the last few matches. He's probably tired. He could probably do with the rest, to be fair. So having someone like that would be fantastic. We could rest Traore or take him off early, vice versa with Doherty, because Bird's been on the bench the last couple of games, but again not featured, which is disappointing, because if Doherty's not performing well for me, he should be taken out regardless, really, and give Bird a chance. He couldn't be any worse than Doherty in his last game at the weekend. I thought he was very poor. And sort of looking ahead toward to tomorrow's game, which is obviously against Man United at Old Trafford, be a FA Cup third round tie. The Tranmere and Watford game has been postponed, so I'm not sure when that will feature. And potentially Watford have got a midweek game next week, so either they're going to play on the weekend that we should be playing in the fourth round if we can get through, or potentially Watford's game next midweek could be moved to make way for the FA Cup match they've got against Tranmere. So looking ahead now to the Wolves and Man United game tomorrow, the side that Nuno's going to pick, it's quite difficult really. Can't really make too many changes because the squad's thin the ground. I'm guessing Ruddy will come in, Bennett will come in at the back, Kilman I would think will come in, no doubt Cody will play. We've got really no competition for him at the minute. Then I would expect Dendoncker to be moved into midfield, probably resting either Moutinho or Neves. Nuno normally, what he normally does is he normally takes Neves out for some reason, even though he's 10 years younger than Moutinho. Moutinho just seems to get a lot more, gets through a bit more work and seems to play more matches. So I'd expect Dendoncker to move there. Potentially Saiss could move forward as well, maybe resting Neves and Dendoncker and play Saiss and resting Neves and Moutinho and playing Saiss and Dendoncker in there maybe. But we've got Gibbs White as well to come back, so maybe he'll be given a go along with Dendoncker maybe. And then sort of left wing back, I'd expect Vinagre to start. It'd be nice to see Bird to start on the right hand side, sort of saving a lot of the players if we can for the weekend. I wouldn't really rest Raul because we've got really no replacement. Benny Ashley-Seal, when he played against Man United last week, he flattered to deceive. Started off okay and it's sort of the Harwarth on. He sort of got bullied by Lindelof and Maguire. Became very easy to snuff out, and it was just sort of wave after wave of Man United attack through periods of the first half. So I'd expect Raul to start, and we've got no competition at the minute for Traore, so he's going to have to start. And then on the left hand side, we've got Neto. He will play again. As Yotta's injured, and we've got no new signings at the minute. So I'd expect that team to start. A couple of options in the midfield area, sort of at the back, depending on what Nuno wants to do. He might even stick with the same team that played last weekend, maybe, and just trying to get a win. Because at the minute the form's been very patchy recently, and we desperately need a win. Whether it's now or the weekend, Southampton, both are hard games, and we're not favourites to win the Man United game. They're definitely favourites, and they're in good form as well, good goal scoring form. So I'm not sure how many changes they'll make, but I'm sure they'll be looking at this game, looking to win the game. They've got a bigger squad than us, so they can rotate if they need to. Some sort of score prediction. Go for a 2-1 win to Wolves. I'm always optimistic. I think we can win every game, as you are. I reckon Jimenez and Neto with the goals. Traore with an assist or two. And that's it. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new, please subscribe. And there'll be plenty more videos like this one and many other ones as well, looking at some different things. Okay, thank you very much.